Styracosaurus is a small ceratopsid that lived in late Cretaceous North America. It was about 6 feet tall, 18 feet long, and weighing around 6,000 pounds. Styracosaurus is part of the ceratopsid family. It had horns and frill like its relatives. It would protect itself from predators with that horn. It was mainly hunted by Albertosaurus, a medium-sized carnivore and also a relative to the T-Rex. Wyangosaurus is a small stegosaur that lived in Middle Jurassic Asia. It's about 4 feet tall, 15 feet long, and weighed around 3 tons. Wyangosaurus had a phagomizer at the end of its tail for defending itself from predators such as Yanchuanosaurus. Australopithecus is a small carnivore that lived in late Cretaceous Australia. It's about 6 feet tall, 20 feet long, and weighed over 1 ton. Australopithecus had very sharp claws. They would use these claws to hunt prey such as Monosaurus and Minmi. Amargasaurus is a small sauropod that lived in early Cretaceous South America. It was about 8 feet tall, 33 feet long, and weighed around 3 tons. Known for the double row of spikes on its neck, used for defending itself from predators, it would do very little against T-Rex. Casmosaurus is a small ceratopsian that lived in late Cretaceous North America. It's about 8 feet tall, 16 feet long, and weighed around 2 tons. Unlike other ceratopsians, Casmosaurus had a rectangular frill, unlike the other ceratopsians. Dilophosaurus is a small theropod that lived in early Jurassic North America. It stood around 8 feet tall, 25 feet long, and weighed around 880 pounds. Dilophosaurus did not have the retractable bill or the ability to spit venom. It is to believe that Dilophosaurus hunted in packs in order to take down larger prey. Oviraptor is a small dinosaur that lived in late Cretaceous Mongolia. It stood around 5 feet tall, 5 feet long, and weighed around 79 pounds. Oviraptor's name means egg thief, which believed to only eat eggs. Later on, it was found out that Oviraptor ate other stuff too, such as meat and plant material. Camarasaurus is a large sauropod that lived in late Jurassic North America between 175 and 150 million years ago. Reaching heights up to 25 feet tall, 66 feet long, and weighing around 22 tons. Camarasaurus belonged to the Morrison Formation. Other dinosaurs have been known to be in the Morrison Formation, such as Apatosaurus, Brachiosaurus, Allosaurus, and Ceratosaurus. Camarasaurus was hunted by Allosaurus. It would use its long tail to defend itself. Apatosaurus is a large sauropod from late Jurassic North America, between 161 and 150 million years ago. It grew about 15 feet tall, 75 feet long, and weighed around 25 tons. Apatosaurus is part of the Morrison formations. Other dinosaurs are part of the Morrison formations such as Brachiosaurus, Camarasaurus, Diplodocus, Dryosaurus, Allosaurus, and Ceratosaurus. Apatosaurus would have used its long whip-like tail to defend itself from predators such as Allosaurus. Brachiosaurus is a large sauropod that lived in late Jurassic North America. reaching heights up to 52 feet tall, 72 feet long, and weighed around 50 tons. Brachiosaurus is part of the Brachiosauridae family. Its closest relatives were Giraffatitan and Sonorosaurus. Unlike the platypids, Brachiosaurus did not have the whip-like tail to defend itself, but with height on its side, it doesn't need to fear any predators. Brachiosaurus is also part of the Morrison formation, which had Apatosaurus, Camarasaurus, Diplodocus, Dryosaurus, Allosaurus, and Ceratosaurus. Diplodocus is a large sauropod that lives in late Jurassic North America, reaching heights up to 30 feet tall, 90 feet long, and weighed around 30 tons. Diplodocus is a member of the Diplodocid family. Its closest relative would have been Apatosaurus. Diplodocus would use its long whip-like tail to defend itself from predators such as Allosaurus. Ceratosaurus is a small carnivore that lived in Middle Jurassic Europe. It was about 5 feet tall, 10 feet long, and weighed around 80 pounds. Ceratosaurus' name means the buffoon horned lizard, which leads it to believe to be a close cousin of Ceratosaurus. Ceratosaurus is actually an ancestor to the T-Rex. Acrocanthosaurus is a large theropod and lived in early Cretaceous North America. It was about 13 feet tall, 40 feet long, and weighed around 7 tons. Acrocanthosaurus is part of the Carcharodontosauride family. Its closest relatives were Allosaurus, Giganotosaurus, Mapusaurus, and Tyrannotitan. Acrocanthosaurus had sharp and serrated teeth, which would have used for hunting prey such as Tenontosaurus. Carcharodontosaurus is a large theropod that lived in late Cretaceous Africa. It was about 12 feet tall, 46 feet long, and weighed around 7 tons. Carcharodontosaurus' name means shark-toothed lizard because it had serrated teeth like that of a shark. Carcharodontosaurus is part of the Carcharodontosaurid family. Its closest relatives were Giganotosaurus, Allosaurus, Tyrannotitan, and Mapusaurus. Capi, or Compsognathus, is a small dinosaur that lived in late Jurassic Europe. It's around a foot tall, 2 feet long, and weighed around 7 pounds. Compsognathus mainly ate insects and small lizards, but in big groups it could tackle prey up to twice its size. Giganotosaurus is a large theropod that lived in late Cretaceous South America, coming at around 20 feet tall, 43 feet long, and weighed around 9 tons. Giganotosaurus is part of the Carcharodontosaurid family. Its closest relatives were Carcharodontosaurus, Acrocanthosaurus, Mapusaurus, and Allosaurus. Giganotosaurus had sharp and serrated teeth used for hunting prey, such as Dreadnoughtus. Giganotosaurus used these teeth to slash the skin of its prey. Concavenator is a medium-sized theropod from early Cretaceous Europe. It is about 7 feet tall, 20 feet long, and 880 pounds. Concavenator is a member of the Concarodontosaurid family. Its closest relatives were Giganotosaurus, Allosaurus, Tyrannotitan, and Mapusaurus. Concavenator had sharp and serrated teeth. It would use these teeth to hunt its prey. It would hunt a Struthium moive called Pelican mimus. Allosaurus is a medium-sized theropod that lived in late Jurassic North America. It grew about 17 feet tall, 30 feet long, and weighed about a ton. Allosaurus fossils were mainly found in North America, but some have been found in Europe. Allosaurus had sharp and serrated teeth. It would use these teeth to hunt its prey, and mainly hunted Dinosaurs. Ceratosaurus is a medium-sized theropod that lived in late Jurassic North America. It grew about 6 feet tall, 20 feet long, and weighed around 2 tons. Ceratosaurus belonged to the Morrison Formation. Other dinosaurs such as Brachiosaurus, Allosaurus belonged to the Morrison Formation. It would have competed for Allosaurus for Allosaurus could run up to speeds up to 60 miles an hour to catch its prey, and many hunted Dryosaurus. Chunkingosaurus is a small stegosaur that lived in late Jurassic Asia. It grew about 3 feet tall, 13 feet long, and weighed about 1 ton. Chunkingosaurus had a set of spikes or phagomizer at the end of its tail. It would use this phagomizer to defend itself from predators such as Monolophosaurus. Chunkingosaurus is part of the Stegosaurid family. Its closest relatives were Chunkingosaurus, Kentrosaurus, and Stegosaurus. Chunkingosaurus mainly ate cycads as its main source of food. Coryphosaurus is a large hadrosaur that lived in late Cretaceous North America. It grew about 8 feet tall, 30 feet long, and weighed about 6 tons. Coryphosaurus is part of the Hadrosaurid family. Its closest relatives were Parasaurolophus and Montosaurus and Lambeosaurus. Coryphosaurus had a head crest on top of its head, used for communicating with others of its kind. Coryphosaurus was hunted by Albertosaurus, a medium-sized carnivore and a cousin of T-Rex. Dracorex is a small herbivore that lived in late Cretaceous North America 66 million years ago. It was about 4 feet tall, 11 feet long, and weighed about 1,300 pounds. Dracorex is part of the Pachysauridae family. Its closest relatives were Pachycephalosaurus and Stygomoloch. There is a species of Dracorex called Dracorex hogwartsia, after the Academy in Harry Potter. Dracorex used its dome-shaped head for detecting itself from predators and competing for mates. Dryosaurus is an ornithopod dinosaur that lived in late Jurassic North America. It grew about 6 feet tall, 14 feet long, and weighed about 200 pounds. Dryosaurus is part of the Morrison Formation. It lived alongside Brachiosaurus, Apatosaurus, Allosaurus, and Ceratosaurus. Dryosaurus could reach up speeds up to 40 miles an hour. It would use these speeds to run away from predators such as Allosaurus and Ceratosaurus. Gigantospinosaurus is a small stegosaur that lived in late Jurassic Asia. It was about 8 feet tall, 14 feet long, and weighed about 3/4 of a ton. It gets its name due to the giant shoulder spikes on its shoulders. Gigantospinosaurus' name means giant spined lizard. Gigantospinosaurus had a phagomizer at the end of its tail, but it used this phagomizer to protect itself from predators such as Yanchuanosaurus. Gigantospinosaurus lived alongside the giant sauropod Mamenchisaurus. Archaeorhynchus is a small herbivore that lived in late Cretaceous Asia between 89 and 70 million years ago. Coming in at around 7 feet tall, 11 feet long, and weighed around 110 pounds. Archaeorhynchus' name means ancient bird mimic. Archaeorhynchus is part of the Struthium family. Its closest relatives were Gallimimus, Struthium, Dromaeosaurus, and Struthium. This dinosaur could run up to speeds up to 35 miles an hour. Kentrosaurus is a medium-sized stegosaur that lives in late Jurassic Africa. It's about 5 feet tall, 15 feet long, and weighed around 3 tons. Unlike Stegosaurus, who has spikes on the end of its tail, Kentrosaurus had spikes all over its tail. Kentrosaurus was discovered on June 24, 1910. Kentrosaurus is an herbivore who fed on low-level vegetation. Allosaurus is a large sauropod that lived in late Cretaceous North America. Coming in around 25 feet tall, 98 feet long, and weighing around 40 tons. Allosaurus was found in Texas. It lived alongside Triceratops, Ankylosaurus, Troodon, and T-Rex. Allosaurus fed on leaves on top of trees that no other herbivores could reach by using its long neck. Allosaurus was discovered by Charles Gilmore in 1921. Allosaurus was the last sauropod to be discovered. Ankylosaurus is a large ankylosaur that lives in late Cretaceous North America. Coming in around 6 feet tall, 30 feet long, and weighed around 9 tons. Ankylosaurus had armor, or osteoderms, all over its back to protect itself. Ankylosaurus also had a club at the end of its tail, and would use its club to defend itself from predators such as T-Rex. It lived alongside Montosaurus, Allosaurus, Troodon, and T-Rex. The belly of Ankylosaurus is vulnerable. If T-Rex fought to flip this dinosaur over, it's game over. Montosaurus is a large hadrosaur that lived in late Cretaceous North America. Coming in around 10 feet tall, 43 feet long, and weighed around 4 tons. The one you see here is Montosaurus regalis. Montosaurus regalis had a round-shaped crest on top of its head for communicating with others of its kind. Montosaurus's name means mountain lizard, due to the fact that Montosaurus was discovered in the town of Edmonton. Montosaurus was the most common food source for T-Rex. Ankylosaurus is a small theropod that lived in Middle Jurassic Asia. It grew about 6.5 feet tall, 18 feet long, and weighed about half a ton. Its name means single-crested lizard. Unlike its more popular counterpart Dilophosaurus, Monolophosaurus has one crest on its head. Monolophosaurus hunted in packs, which helped it take down larger prey, such as Mamentosaurus, which lived alongside it. Olorotitan is a large hadrosaur that lived in late Cretaceous Asia. It grew about to be 11 feet tall, 26 feet long, and weighed around 6 tons. Olorotitan's name means Titanic Swan. It has a longer neck than any other sauropod. Olorotitan has an almost upright human posture. Not as upright as humans, but it still has a unique posture of other hadrosaurs. Struthiomimus is a small herbivore that lived in late Cretaceous North America. It was about 5 feet tall, 13 feet long, and weighed around 330 pounds. Its name means ostrich mimic. Struthiomimus can run up to speeds up to 50 miles an hour. Its closest relatives were Gallimimus, Archaeophragmimus, Dromaeosaurus, and Orpheus. Parasaurolophus is a large hadrosaur that lived in late Cretaceous North America to 83 to 70 million years ago. It was about 8 feet tall, 36 feet long, and weighed around 4 tons. Parasaurolophus is one of the most iconic dinosaurs ever known. It is best known for the backwards-facing crest. It could grow up to 6 feet long. It would use this crest to warn others of danger, and also communicating for others of its kind. Parasaurolophus was hunted by Albertosaurus, a cousin of T-Rex. Its closest relatives were Montosaurus, Lambeosaurus, and Centaurosaurus. Bipterodactylus is not a dinosaur, but a pterosaur that lived in late Cretaceous Africa 66 million years ago. It weighed 8 pounds with a 16-foot wingspan. Bipterodactylus is part of the Nyctosaurid family, which had antler-like crests on top of their head. Bipterodactylus and other Nyctosaurids could spend longer in the air than any other pterosaur known to man. Deinocheirus is a large dinosaur that lived in late Cretaceous Asia. coming in around 14 feet tall, 36 feet long, and weighed around 7 tons. Dinosaur is not related to Veriginosaurus. Its closest relatives were Gallimimus, Orthomimimus, Vermesiomimimus, Orthomimimus, and Archaeorthomimimus. Dinosaurs had long arms with 3 blunt claws on each hand. These arms can grow up to 8 feet long. Dinosaurus is an omnivore. It fed on water plants and also fish. Dinosaurus had a hump on its back. This hump was formed by narrow spines. Iguanodon is a large ornithopod that lived in early Cretaceous Europe. It was about 9 feet tall, 30 feet long, and weighed around 6 tons. Iguanodon's name means iguana tooth, due to having teeth that is similar to that of a iguana. Iguanodon had a thumb spike on each hand for tearing up vegetation and defense against predators. Its closest relatives were Dinosaurus, Camptosaurus, and Tyrannosaurus. Cryolophosaurus is a small theropod that lived in early Jurassic Antarctica. It was about 8 feet tall, 26 feet long, and weighed around half a ton. Cryolophosaurus is the very first dinosaur to be discovered in Antarctica. Cryolophosaurus went by another name, Elvisaurus, named after Elvis Presley. Its name means cold-crested lizard. Cryolophosaurus was discovered in 1901 by Dr. William Hampter. Lystrosaurus is not a dinosaur by a synopsis and lived in early Triassic Europe, Asia, Antarctica, and Asia. It was anywhere between 1 and 3 feet tall, 3 and 8 feet long, and weighed around 200 pounds. Lystrosaurus is part of the Dicentodont family. Dicentodonts are famous for their mammal-like appearance. Dicentodon means two-dog tooth. Lystrosaurus had 2 tiny tusks used for digging up roots and finding food. Tarbosaurus is a large theropod that lived in late Cretaceous Asia 70 million years ago. It was about 13 feet tall, 33 feet long, and weighed around 5 tons. Tarbosaurus is the second largest in the Tyrannosaur family. Tarbosaurus had 2 small arms with 2 fingers on each hand. It's not quite as large as T-Rex, but is still a force to be reckoned with. Its closest relatives were Gorgosaurus, Albertosaurus, T-Rex, and Eutyranus. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a new dinosaur entering the park. Tyrannosaurus rex, North America's top predator, from 66 million years ago. It grew about 20 feet tall, 40 feet long, weighed around 6 tons. T-Rex is one of the most famous dinosaurs ever known to man. It lived alongside Triceratops, Ankylosaurus, Alamosaurus, and Troodon. Closest relatives were Gorgosaurus, Albertosaurus, Eutyranus, and Changosaurus. T-Rex had 60 razor-sharp teeth that grew as long as a banana. Mamenchisaurus is a large sauropod that was in late Jurassic Asia. This giant grew about 35 feet tall, 65 feet long, and weighed around 30 tons. Mamenchisaurus is best known for the long neck it has. It has the longest neck of any of our sauropods. This neck could reach up to 50 feet long, and it had 19 vertebrae inside the neck. It is to believe that Mamenchisaurus had small hatchlings by the hundreds. This is because if some of them die, some of them will grow into adults. Spinosaurus is a large theropod that lived in late Cretaceous Africa. It grew about 18 feet tall, 50 feet long, and weighed around 9 tons. One of the largest theropods ever to be discovered, Spinosaurus is one of them. Spinosaurus had a sail on its back for controlling its body temperature and for attracting mates. Spinosaurus is part of the family Spinosauridae, which have crocodile-like jaws and sometimes a sail on its back. Its closest relatives were Suchomimus, Baryonyx, Ichthyovenator, and Irritinator. Spinosaurus used to roam the wetlands of what is now Egypt. Dinoceratops is a large ceratopsian from late Cretaceous Asia. It grew about 6 feet tall, 19 feet long, and weighed around 2.5 tons. Dinoceratops was discovered back in 2010 in China. This is proof Not all ceratopsians came from North America. Dinoceratops can run up to speeds up to 37 miles per hour with its charge. Dreadnoughtus is a large sauropod that lived in late Cretaceous South America, reaching heights about 20 feet tall, 85 feet long, and weighed around 65 tons. Dreadnoughtus' name means "fears nothing" because it had little to no predators. It is unknown if Dreadnoughtus rivaled Argentinosaurus in size.